Well, never a dull moment in the life of a cruising sailor. As fate would have it, we are traveling down the Abacos in Marsh Harbor, and we jumped off to head our way to Eleuthera. Well, we made it as far down as Leonard Cay when the motor started making this terrible vibration. Well, we quickly came to a stop, and under examination we discovered that the coupler, the flexible coupler between our Yanmar 3JH diesel engine and our Sillette Outdrive had sheared a bolt. Now, it's only connected to the transmission with two bolts, and one of them sheared off, so you can imagine the vibration. Luckily, we were able to throttle it down to just the lowest idle we could get to, and we could still get a little bit of forward momentum. The wind was not strong, but we did get the sails up to get some breeze to help us, and we decided to turn around and head back to Marsh Harbor, where we might have more provisions to handle the situation. Well, the process of getting a new part was not overly complicated, but it did involve a couple of steps. Now, for those of you in this predicament and desperately need something from the U.S., there's a number of different ways. I even hear that Amazon has a method of getting some parts over to some parts of the Abacos and the Bahamas. In our case, we contacted Abaco Freight, which in Marsh Harbor was very convenient because they were only located, with short walking distance from the public docks, which that was going to be an advantage. And the process went something like this. We called Sillette in England, placed the order for the part. They had it on hand, no problem. They shipped it out. Now, it had to be shipped to the Abaco Freight Company in West Palm Beach, Florida, at which point they would receive it and then put it on a plane and fly it over to Marsh Harbor. It made it from England to the United States in 3 days, which I thought was pretty good. We didn't expedite it, it was just normal shipping time. But I guess when you figure that, anything that's coming from England, it's not on a boat, it's coming on a plane, so that's only a day to get it here by an airplane. Anyway, we got the part over to the United States, and then it came to a screeching halt. Customs. It was sitting in a warehouse in Memphis, Tennessee for just about a week until it could get the proper customs clearance to get it moving along again. Once that happened, it made it way down to West Palm Beach. They shipped it out right away, and we ultimately received the part. I got to give a big shout out to Abaco Freight. They were marvelous, and if you have any questions on how this process works, contact your freight shipper, Abaco or Maker's Air, or any one of the other ones that are out there, and they'll walk you right through the steps. Now, it wasn't particularly cheap. You can imagine, from flying it over from the States, flying it from England to the United States. But when you have to have it, you have to have it. So there we go. We finally got the part.
Okay. Tell me what you got going on here.
Well, this was the root of all the problems right there. That bolt sheared off inside this adapter. This Outdrive was here, engine was here. This was an adapter plate to adapt it to my transmission. And this was only held to this with two bolts, and that one sheared right off. So that's not a good thing. And I can see some odd wear going on one of the other holes, probably from it being loose and rattling around. But we got it now. I just got to put the new part back in.
On with the install. We're trying to get it done this morning. So we can take off for the Exumas.
All right. Repairing your boat in exotic places.
And that's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah.
Look at that, look at that. Okay, Ron is attempting to replace, he's just removed this, and this is the new part from England. And he didn't have to disconnect the Outdrive completely. He was able to loosen it and move it back enough so he could get the one part out. This part out, and this is the new part from England. And it's kind of, you can see we've got the Outdrive tied up there, and we're doing it this way so we wouldn't have to move the engine.
Yeah. That flexible coupler fits right in here, and the only way to get it out of there is you have to either move the engine forward a couple inches or the Outdrive back a couple inches. So we opted to move the Outdrive. Thought I was going to have to disconnect it completely, but it turns out I didn't have to. I had to put longer bolts.
Very cool.
And let it drift back. So, of course, everything is rusted from years of being in the salt water, so every bolt is a challenge. But we will get it. We are going to get this puppy.
Okay, let me explain a little bit of what's going on. All right, because I'm going to have to get involved now because I need to
I think it's
loosen that bolt right there because he has to push out on the Outdrive so that we can so that I can get this into this hole, and this pivots, so, and he's going to have to move the Outdrive back enough so that I can get that in real quickly so that we don't have to unbolt the whole Outdrive. Hi.
Hello.
All right, you ready?
Hello.
Let's see if I can get this in. Okay, so so we got it far enough out there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Hooray!
Few minutes later.
All right, we are back up and running again. But there's a few things in this video that I don't feel were covered in enough detail, and I'd like to go through a couple of those with you right now. First off, if you're going to move the Outdrive back away from the engine and separate the two, there's two extra steps. You need to make sure you disconnect the pin on the tiller from the steering cable and disconnect the cable for the auto lock so it doesn't get damaged as the Outdrive is getting moved back and forth. Secondly, when you put everything back together, you put the transom plate back against the transom, you are going to need to reseal that because you're going to break the seal when you move the Outdrive backwards. But this is easy to do, with the boat in the water. And last, check your engine alignment after you put everything back together again. There's a lot of things that can affect alignment, including your motor mounts. If they haven't been replaced in a while, the last time you aligned it, it may have been fine, but now it's not. But this is a great time to do that while you're in there working on it. This flex coupler, its primary duty is to protect your transmission in the case of a hard impact on your prop. If the propeller stops suddenly for some reason. The flexible coupler will self-destruct, yet not come completely disconnected for your transmission, so you still have some operational ability. But it also is advertised as being able to compensate for a little bit of engine to transmission misalignment, but trust me, you need to get that engine alignment as precise as you can. Don't count on the coupler to make up for a sloppy fit. The closer you are to perfect, the better it is for all your components, and the longer everything is going to last. So if you find this video helpful, I'm thankful for that, and if you have any more in-depth questions, feel free to message me about it. And until that time, I hope to see you guys out on the water enjoying your catamarans and Sillette Outdrives and diesel engines and everything else. Good day.